All right, fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And welcome back to the 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐞 podcast, the podcast where I talk about topics that interest me and other things, and just going to give my thoughts and my opinions on some stuff. So, this podcast is all going to be about comic book movies and TV shows, whatever you want to call it. Basically comic book stuff. You have Comic-Con. I don't know if it's just over or if it's still going, but they've been having a lot of trailers and stuff go out, recently. So I'm going to talk about at least 4 of them here. And hopefully they don't drop any other big news, like Marvel doesn't drop that Thanos trailer that they've been holding on to tomorrow, Sunday, because otherwise I'm going to make another video just talking about that specifically. But we're going to be talking about Inhumans, the Defenders on Netflix, the new Justice League trailer that just dropped, and the new Thor trailer that dropped too. So with the Inhumans, right, I'm really unsure how to take that one, YouTube. I mean, I know who the characters are. I'm a fan of the material. They've been in comic books since way back in the day, since early Fantastic Four stuff. So but comic book wise, and I know it's going to be different. I'm just, using this as a medium to explain my opinion on it. In the comic books, the Inhumans were always I'm going to say on the fringe of Marvel. Like, everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows certain key things about the Inhumans. The Inhumans, they have to get their powers from the Terrigen Mist. Everybody knows how badass Black Bolt is. Everybody knows if he speaks, he could fuck shit up, So I've always been more interested in some of the other characters. Like, I think, what's the guy's name? Karnak, the guy who could see the weakness and everything. I remember, way back in the day when, they used to throw him in the cartoons and stuff like that. But the TV show for the Inhumans, I don't know how to take this, YouTube, because I know it's going to be about the royal family, Black Bolt, Medusa, his core, family that, that's always in all the Inhuman comics. But I don't know if they're gonna are they gonna be teaming up with the people from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like Daisy and Quake and, that kind of sort of thing? Because you had a lot of Inhuman stuff in that. So I'm assuming that they had, Daisy has to jump over and make, a cameo or something. They got to explain, because where the world is right now, the world, at least in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is Marvel as a whole, I'm guessing, is they're hunting Inhumans. That's the whole thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's, everybody already knows about Inhumans, it's nothing new. So if Black Bolt and his Inhumans from the moon just suddenly appear on Earth, that's a big ass threat. Now granted, he's not a threat, but I'm just saying people are just going to see him as just a generic Inhuman, and maybe try to capture him. Maybe get S.H.I.E.L.D. to try to capture him. So I'm guessing you have to have some kind of medium when he shows up on Earth, like in the one scene in the trailer where where Lockjaw just teleports him to the city. You have to have S.H.I.E.L.D. show up, and you have to have I'm assuming they're gonna probably get Quake to be the medium in there, but that's even if they have her in the show. I'm assuming they can, since it's Netflix. It's not like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's, to bring her into a movie, they got to cross a lot of lines there. I think that's coming down the road, maybe for the next phase, but so far they haven't did any of that yet. That's why you don't see none of the Defenders in the, the cinematic movies. I'm hoping they get there, maybe in Infinity War, they at least show them fighting people on Earth, But I'm just curious to see how this is going to go. It looks like it's going to be, typical storytelling. It looks like his brother Maximus is going to try to usurp the throne, and then I'm guessing he's going to try to kill Black Bolt, Medusa, and the rest of the royal family to, solidify his dominance. I mean, because he was always a dick in the comic books anyway, so he was kind of, let's say, how Loki is to Thor, that's how Maximus was, except Maximus was, Loki kind of flirted the line with being good every once in a while, but Maximus was just kind of no, I'm just an evil dick, So I'm unsure as far as how they're going to do it. So far, it looks just okay. It doesn't look like anything great or anything like that, but they're rolling with that TV budget, so I kind of expect that. It is what it is. I'm kind of used to it by now. It's one of those things where Marvel got the badass CG, and they pretty much shit on everybody else. So I know it's still gonna look good. I know even some of the stuff, even on television with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did some badass shit with Ghost Rider when it comes to CG. So I'm expecting it to at least be on par with that, at least in a few places. I know they can't do it every episode, but I know I think they had the teaser drop a few months ago for it, and everybody was joking about how the costumes and stuff looked. And I mean, to me, it is what it is. I mean, if you have Black Bolt walking around in his black suit with the little, you know, accordion wing things on, I mean, people would just think he looks dumb as shit in real life. So they can't have him walking around in that all the damn time. You know, they have to, you know, be, let's say, like, you know, he has to have a Clark Kent disguise outfit, you know. And that's what I think that normal outfit is that they wear. Because, you know, they got Medusa in something similar, something in like casual clothes. So I'm guessing they're going to use their comic book outfits. If they have them in there, I'm guessing, I would assume they are. They're going to probably be like battle uniforms or something like that, you know. Maybe in like the last episode, they might throw them on and you might see them throw down or something like that. So that's where I'm guessing that is. But overall, Inhumans, it's, you know, looks okay. You know, looks okay so far. I'm definitely going to probably check it out. By it being a Netflix, I think is it going to be a TV show or... Because I think it's going to be a TV show. It's like one of those weird things where it's like the first episode they're going to play in IMAX and theaters, and then the rest of it is going to be a TV show. So I don't know how it's going to go. But they may put all the money in like the first episode and then just shit on everything else. I hope they don't do that. But, you know, it looks interesting so far. I mean, you know, I'm not hyped for it, but it's one of those things where it's like, why not, you know? Marvel needs, or at least their movie cinematic universe, they need people with powers. Since they can't use X-Men because, you know, Fox are being dicks. So they have to, you know, they have to make Inhumans their mutants. You know what I'm saying? Even in the comic books, I think they've been trying to kill off mutants. I don't know if that's like a company mandate kind of sort of thing, or if that's just doing from a storytelling, but it feels like it's a company mandate kind of sort of thing. So I don't know if maybe in the cinematic universe, maybe they're just not going to mention mutants and just, I mean, well, they can't mention them because they were Fox, but I'm assuming that's what they would do. It's like, okay, because Inhumans and mutants, they were a similar bag of tricks. Like mutants were, oh, you're born with these, you know, genetic abilities that kick in during puberty. Inhumans, hey, guess what? You have some alien DNA in you, and if you breathe this gas, it'll transform you, and you get power. So it's like they're pretty much the same thing. It's nothing really different. Nothing really different about them except how they're treated and how they carry themselves. Powers wise, it's just, hey, look, here's a guy with powers, you know. Kind of similar to like metahumans from DC, if you guys know what I'm talking about with that. Metahumans were humans with powers or mutants, just like how Marvel, you know, how mutants are with Marvel. So I mean, Inhumans looks pretty good. I'm just waiting to see what they do with it. Next we're going to be talking about the Defenders. This I'm actually hyped for. But basically this is the Netflix version of the Avengers. That's what this is. You got Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil all teaming up to fight Sigourney Weaver. If you're gonna have a badass alien, you know, chick in there, you know, definitely want to pick Sigourney Weaver because she is a badass character in my book. I'm a huge fan of hers, and I'm curious to see what the storyline's gonna be as far as the Defenders. I know they're gonna fight her. I know she's the big bad. I'm kind of hoping that all the Netflix shows, all of that hand stuff you've been seeing behind the scenes of them like bringing people back from the dead and things like that, I'm hoping that's leading up to this, because I don't know who she is. I haven't read up about Sigourney Weaver's character, so I don't know what character she's playing. If I knew her name, maybe I can pretty much guess the story since I'm a fan of the material in the comic book, so I might know which organization she's with. But I'm guessing how Defenders is going to go is you're going to have them all meet in like the first 2 episodes, or something's going to happen where they get attacked or something and they all have to band together, and you're going to have a lot of camaraderie between them where it's like they have to learn to like each other. And so far, like, they even had jokes and stuff in the trailer and everything. So far it looks funny as hell when it comes to certain scenes and how they act with each other and everything. That looks like it's going to be great. My one big worry about it though, and it pisses me off to no hell, I'm a huge Iron Fist fan. and I love the character. I may not follow the comic books as much as I like, but I'm a huge fan of the character and what he stands for. Everybody knows Iron Fist was like the shittiest Netflix show out of them all. I don't particularly know why that is. I'm gonna assume maybe they ran out of budget, something was going on. Maybe the one white dude that was playing him, maybe he didn't know shit about martial arts. It didn't seem like it. So I don't know, what happened, but I'm gonna assume that whatever issues that they had isn't gonna translate to this, because this actually looks good from the trailer. Iron Fist kind of looked like you could see that something was up with it, because when I see Iron Fist, right, I'm expecting him to do some badass martial arts kung fu type stuff, because that's what he does in the comics. If you read any Iron Fist comic book or seen him in everything, he is like one of Marvel's top martial artists. So in the comic book, he's doing flying kicks, jumping off walls, doing martial arts poses, doing all this weird, Asian martial arts kung fu type stuff, right? That's his character. And that's what pissed me off in Iron Fist, because in Iron Fist, it's like he didn't have none of that. And then on top of that, you have a guy who, it's like, I've seen better actors who do like Chinese, Asian movie kung fu fight scenes do a hell of a lot better. I mean, I don't want to say this because because I hate changing the character's race if they're already established, but I would have rather had them seen an Asian Iron Fist that was whooping ass rather than seeing a white guy who didn't know how to fight. That's just me, YouTube. But I'm hoping that maybe by the time this came around, maybe they got him some training, maybe they gave him a better choreographer or something. That's like when I'm seeing the trailer for it, it shows him whooping ass and everything, but that's like the one thing that I'm still not seeing. Like, I'm not seeing Danny Rand doing some badass martial arts shit. Yeah, he may have a glowing fist and he punches something every now and then, but he's not Iron Fist. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm seeing. So, but outside of that, the story looks like it's pretty good. Everybody else looks like they're playing their part just fine. Luke Cage is Luke Cage. He's probably going to be like the best thing in there. Jessica Jones looks like she's going to be a snarky bitch, which was just like her character. So she's looked like she's killing it. Daredevil's Daredevil. I mean, he's like fucking perfect again. Can't really do nothing wrong with that. So to me, Iron Fist is like the main one where it's like, I don't know. I still got to see him do some badass shit. Like even during the hallway fight scene, if you watch like the last second of it, he's just standing there doing side by side, just waiting for his moment to jump in and punch a dude. So it's like he's not really doing anything. I'm hoping that changes by the time it comes out, but I think it comes out like August, maybe next month or September, something like that. So I guess we all have to wait and see how lackluster Danny Rand is going to be, but I'm hoping it's nowhere near as bad as Iron Fist. I mean, Marvel, I don't know when they made the Defenders. I'm assuming like they filmed them in the same order that they showed them. So I'm assuming it was Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and then, what I'm saying? Like, so I'm assuming they went from Iron Fist directly into the Defenders, but knowing Marvel, maybe they shot it at the same time. So, I'm hoping that the bad press and whatever happened with Iron Fist doesn't come over to the Defenders and fuck that up as well. It doesn't look like it, so looks good so far. So definitely hyped about that. Something else I'm not really super hyped for, but it looks like it may be okay, is Justice League. I'm just not sure how it's gonna be. I'm a huge comic book fan. I like Marvel. I like DC. I know the characters. DC's been fucking up. The only decent movie that they've had so far is Wonder Woman. Just gonna say it. Didn't like Batman v Superman. I thought Man of Steel was okay for what it was. I mean, I know they tried to retcon it into continuity, but that was more separate. But Batman v Superman, garbage. Suicide Squad, even more garbage. So with this, it looks like they've learned their lesson, because they seem to step it up. They're having levity in the movie. You can have levity in the movie and have a couple jokes without it changing the whole tone of your movie. So that looks like it's going to be cool. They're fighting a credible bad guy. That was the one thing that I was worried about. I was worried that Steppenwolf was gonna be just like a generic dude, kind of like how they did Ares in Wonder Woman. But it looks like no, they're actually trying to do him right. You know, he's gonna come down and wreck some shit. You know, so it looks good. The only really I'm worried about how the pacing's gonna be, because I mean I can pretty much get the whole gist of the story by by watching the trailers. Batman's forming a team. The mother boxes are gonna, for some reason, I'm guessing either Steppenwolf is trying to get the mother boxes for something. They're scattered on Earth. He's gonna come down looking for them. They gotta fight him, fuck shit up. You know, it is what it is. I'm not really liking the fact that Superman's dead and he's gonna be absent like most of the part of the movie, because Superman's a big part of the Justice League. Hell, he's like one of the people who fucking started it, not Batman. So I don't agree with a lot of their story, picks and changes, but I think DC, I think they're kind of fucking up behind the scenes. I think the movie's going to be great, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's not going to be as good as it could have been, because I think behind the scenes, for whatever reason they lose directors, the casting problems. Like I just read an article the other day. I don't know if it's a rumor or if it's, hinting at something bigger, but they were talking about Ben Affleck leaving as Batman. So it's like, I don't know. They seem to run into a lot of shit behind the scenes that fucks up their movies. And a lot of it is, corporate related, meaning like studio decisions and stuff like Batman v Superman. That they fucked that up, But this, I think, may suffer from a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I think it's going to be okay. I think this is going to suffer story-wise because they're shoehorned into making this a movie a certain way because of how Batman v Superman was. I think if this would have came first, then Batman v Superman, just like when I said when Batman v Superman came out, I think that they could have made this movie better rather than shoehorning it in as, oh, look, well, we can't just have Superman because he's died. He's dead. You got to bring him back. They have to do certain things. You have to have, Ben Affleck's Batman put the team together because Superman's not there. You have to do certain things, story-wise and everything. Although a lot of it didn't make sense. When I watched the trailer, they was talking about, oh, the world saw Superman as a beacon of hope and all of this, and now that he's gone, the world is mourning him. I'm like, no, they didn't. I've seen Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Yeah, some people worshipped him, but the majority of the people on Earth didn't like him. They didn't trust him. That was the whole point behind Batman v Superman. So I don't know if they're just saying, fuck it, we're retconning that. Or if because Superman wasn't he wasn't like the Superman in the comic books. When Superman died in the comic books in the early 90s, that shit was on the news. CNN was talking about that shit. It's like, oh man, the world lost one of its greatest heroes. They was talking about him like a real fucking person. That's how much Superman hit people. And in the comic book world, I mean, he had already saved the world like a billion times. So everybody loved him in the comic books. They don't have that credibility in the movies. He didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he saved the world, twice. But by the time he did that, I mean, people didn't trust him in the comic books like people trusted him, or I'm sorry, didn't trust him in their movie verse like they trust him in the comic books. So if he died, the world wouldn't be mourning him. The only people that would be mourning him were the people who saw him as the next Jesus. Those people that were, would always look up and praise him and shit. So that didn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do the Aquaman stuff. Because normally underwater movies are shitty. That's why they don't do them a lot of times in Hollywood. I don't know if they're going to have a thing with Aquaman. Maybe they might not, show him underwater all that much. But
See you later.
A few other stylistic changes that I didn't like, that I guess they're shoehorning in there. Batman with the salt and pepper look, or at least Bruce Wayne, rather. Let me say Bruce Wayne with the salt and pepper look. I'm not really feeling that, YouTube. I mean, I guess it fits his age and everything, and I know this is supposed to be an older Batman or whatever, but he just reminds me of Reed Richards with that salt and pepper look, because that's Reed Richards' thing. Aquaman being the dude, bro. Not really feeling that either. That's never been a part of his character. Flash looks like to be a bitch. I don't know how else to describe it, but every scene he's in, he's kind of it's I don't know how to take New Flash. I mean, I really don't. I want to like him, but it's there's something about him where it's just it rubs me the wrong way. I don't exactly know what it is. I did like the scene, however, where they were all standing behind Commissioner Gordon, and when he turned his back, they all disappeared. I thought that was a great joke. I laughed when I saw it, but I think that it would have been better if it was just Batman that did it. Let's say you have all of them standing there, right? Commissioner Gordon turns and then have him turn back, and Batman, who was standing in the middle, is now gone. And you have everybody else turn and look at the center like, does he do that all the time? That's just rude, you know, because that's like Batman's thing. That's not the rest of the league's thing, you know. So I think that would have worked better and been a better joke if from that. But I mean, I don't write movies, so apparently I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I thought that was a great little segue, a little joke that they threw in there. J. Jonah Jameson as Commissioner Gordon. Not sure how I'm feeling with that either. Only because, you know, since he played Jameson as such a good role, I will always see that guy as J. Jonah Jameson or his character from Oz from back in the day. If you guys have ever seen the HBO series Oz, he was a character in there too. He was like the white supremacist racist guy. So I liked him in that too. They showed Superman coming back at the end. They had somebody, I'm guessing he was busted in the Batcave and met with Alfred or whatever. I don't know why they're trying to hide that scene. Like, oh, we don't know who he's talking to. Man, come on, man. We know it's Superman. It's like, come on. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I just don't know how they can do the movie. I think they're trying to tell too much at one time. Because you know this movie is going to be like three things. It's going to be Batman putting the league together, so that's going to probably be like half the movie. And then Steppenwolf has to show up sometime or behind the scenes to find the mother boxes. And then you got to have them do the camaraderie thing and be a team and join up. And they have to fight that losing battle where they get their ass handed to them. And then you got to show at the end of the movie Superman coming back. And you also have to show Steppenwolf being a badass and having the league fight him and like get their ass whooped but win at the end of the movie. I think that's a little bit too much because you have to have Steppenwolf be Steppenwolf. So he has to be the whole third act of the movie. And you have to have him be a credible threat because if you have the Justice League form and let's say he's just like, oh, here's Ares. You know, that's kind of you know, you have to have him showing some badass shit. And so far in the trailer, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, he fought the Amazons. Yeah, he took his axe and smashed it into the ground and caused some lava, but I'm expecting him to drop down and like wreck some shit. You know, by him being one of the people that, you know, I'm not going to say he's a herald for Darkseid because Darkseid really doesn't have heralds like that, but those minions of Darkseid, they're like Superman level strong. You know, that's what it is. So you have to like, you know, they got to come to the table and wreck some shit, you know? He can't just come down and be like, oh, I'm the big bad. Let me fight the Justice League and that's it. I know in the last trailer they had, I mean, I'm guessing they're going to have armies of parademons in there too. That's what it looks like. So, I mean, that's going to be huge. I'm guessing that's going to be the whole third act of the movie. But so far, you know, it looks decent. It looks good. Again, like I said, I'm not feeling a lot of the changes, but I mean, I'm a fan of the material, so I'm going to go see the movie anyway. It's just that, in my personal opinion, I wish that they would have made the movies like how they did Justice League Unlimited and the Justice League cartoons. Because I think that was done kind of perfect. You know, they kind of set the stage with like the first 7 or 8 characters, and then they gradually built it up and introduced everybody else. With this here, it's like, oh yeah, we're starting with like 3 people, and we're only getting like 3 more. So it doesn't really... And the story that they're kind of shoehorned in is kind of off, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to a lot of the characters and characterization. So like, yeah, Batman killing people. So that, like that, you know, there's a lot with the story I don't like, but that's not gonna not stop me from seeing the movie. If I had to compare it to Marvel stuff, I think it's gonna be good for what DC does. I don't think it's gonna beat out Infinity War. I mean, if I had to pick. I know they're both coming out the same year. I think Infinity War is going to shit all over this movie, just to be honest. Like, I'm waiting for Marvel to drop Infinity War's trailer in the next few days. I mean, I'm hoping they do it, but I don't know. See, Thanos is going to, you know, he's going to come with the thunder. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Justice League can stand that, you know, right this yet. I mean, they haven't brought Darkseid in yet, so... We have to see how well this Justice League movie does, and then they're going to probably change things up. And then for the next one, I would assume they're gonna bring in Darkseid for Justice League too. But anyways, guys, that's just my thought on that. I'm probably still gonna see it, and I'll probably make videos talking about it once it drops. So, all right, the movie that shit all over Justice League's trailers thunder this weekend. Like, I remember seeing a Facebook post that somebody put out where they was talking about DC. It was like, DC, nobody can beat our new Justice League trailer. And somebody put like in quotation, it was like, Marvel, hold my beer. You know, because I think the Justice League trailer came out, I don't know if it was earlier today or maybe yesterday, but then you had like the Thor Ragnarok trailer drop. And Thor Ragnarok is weird. It's like one of those things where it's like, it has people excited in a weird kind of way. Like it looks like a straight action movie, right? But it has a lot of levity and character behind it. And you even had, you got the Hulk in there, which brings in his audience, and that's a huge chunk of a lot of people. And then you got Thor's movie being taken a different direction that they didn't really take the other two. And I think it's better for it. You know, it looks colorful. It's a bright, colorful movie. It has jokes and comedy in there to break things up. You got Hela just being the goddess of death, just whooping ass in Asgard. You have a lot of great imagery in it. I think in this trailer you had you even got Bruce Banner in there talking with Thor. Like he was like, Thor was like, oh, he's like, then we fought in the arena. He was like, did I win? And he was like, no, I won. It was like it was incredibly easy. And Bruce Banner was like, oh, he was like, that doesn't sound right. So Thor's like lying his ass off. So you have a lot of in-movie jokes and stuff that I think people are gonna love. You also had like Hulk talking at the end of the trailer. That's something I wasn't really expecting. So that's gonna bring a whole other dynamic that I think people are gonna love about the movie. My only worry about Ragnarok is Ragnarok in the Thor comics. I know this is nothing like how that was. And I'm kind of curious to see what the main threat is. Like, because Hela, I'm not seeing her in none of the shots on this alien planet that they're on, right? So I'm guessing that whole alien planet stuff, that's going to be like in the first half of the movie, or maybe like 80% of the movie. And then the last third act, maybe they go back to Asgard to take down her. And I just don't know how that's going to play out. I'm hoping it's good. It looks good. I mean, you got Thor being a badass with the lightning at the end. So, I mean, it looks good. It looks great. But it's like, that's like the only thing I'm worried about. I know it's going to be a good, like a good entertaining movie. I know I'm going to be entertained. And everybody's going to probably love it for the fact of it, being entertaining. But Hela, again, has to be a credible threat. Just like I said with Steppenwolf and Justice League. She has to come in there and like truly be the shit. And they have to show her doing that. And maybe that's why they had her destroy Thor's hammer. Because Thor's hammer in the movie is like, just like how it is in the comic books when somebody pick it up. It's like one of those things where it's like, wait a minute. If you can fuck up with, if you can fuck up that hammer, then that shows how strong you are. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why they did it. But overall, I mean, I think Thor's going to whoop ass. I think it comes out, like this fall? I'm trying to think if WB has a movie coming out this fall that can compete with it, but I don't think they do. Marvel pushes out way too many movies, and WB is just pushing out 1 or 2 a year. So, Marvel, just really got them beat as far as movies and production. That's something that I'm hoping WB gets, because even though I shit on WB's movies all day, I want them to be as big as Marvel. I want them to be, let's say, a credible threat. Right now, they're not nowhere near competing with Marvel. They know it. Marvel knows it. Marvel can do anything in the world right now. Marvel can come out with a flop, like Iron Fist, and have some people be like, you know what? I still like it. At the end of the day, they could just create something else and have people love something else. And that's just what they do. They have the respect. And that's what the one thing that I was, every time I talk about WB that they don't have. WB is rolling into Justice League like they've been making movies for 10 years like Marvel. Like, no, you haven't. So it's not the same. WB put out some bullshit. Look what happened. Batman v Superman. People trashed that shit. Suicide Squad came out. People, trashed that shit. So it's just one of those things where Marvel, technically, when they put out shit, people could be like, you know what? I don't like that movie, but I like the rest of the movies. WB hasn't gotten there yet, but I mean, I want them to get there. I want them to make like Justice League just as big as the Avengers movies. but they have to put the time in, and I want them to be just as big, because whenever you have two companies, no matter what your product is, movies, games, if you're making like, hey, you know, if two companies are making, you know, trying to make the best toaster, you know, let's just, you know, throw something random in there. If one company is on top all the time, they get lazy, they get sloppy, they get, you know, because they feel like, oh, we don't got to do anything. It's like Activision when they make Call of Duty or any of the bullshit, you know, other bullshit that they make. It's just, they just pump out like the bare minimum, and then people are going to accept it because they're like the biggest, you know, FPS in the industry. They feel like they don't have to come to the table with anything good. And I think Marvel, even though I don't think they're at that point yet, but let's say you give them another 10 years if nothing changes, I think they can get to that. And then we're going to be seeing shitty movies. WB, on the other hand, if they can come out and put the time in and put the effort and actually make a decent movie, they can come out, and then maybe in 10 years, they'll be where Marvel is. And then Marvel's like, oh shit, now we got to make like, you know, Avengers 7 like the baddest shit ever because we got to compete with Justice League 5. You know, then they got to come to the table with like their A game, and that's what I want. And, you know, at the end of the day, I want them to be just as big, because at the end of the day, my little geek fandom dream is I want to see like an Avengers versus Justice League movie. Just throwing it out there. That's what I want to see. I know I mentioned it in like all my videos whenever I talk about this shit, but that's what I want, YouTube. They collaborated a few times in the comic books like that, and you had a couple crossovers like that. And that, I mean, so it's like maybe they can shake hands and come to the table, you know, and make deals happen. I mean, hell, Marvel got Spider-Man back. You know, they can do anything. I'm gonna throw it out there. They can do anything. So I'm hoping that they can come to the table with that eventually. But so far, Thor, you know, to get back on topic with that, that does look pretty good. I'm hugely hyped for Thor Ragnarok. I mean, I can't wait for it to come out. Out of everything that's being released, that's probably only second to the Defenders. I think I'm more pumped for the Defenders than I am for Thor. But Thor is definitely on my radar, YouTube. So anyways, guys, that's just been my thoughts on the different comic book trailers that's been released at Comic-Con this past weekend. And if you guys, you know, have anything to say down in the comments below, let me know what movies you like, you know, you want to see or when they come out, or let me know how you feel about Marvel's movies or DC's movies and things like that. So my name is Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.